noon at first, and I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's not. It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, the women's is at noon. We're not
Right.
changing. We'll just keep it the same because it just gets so confusing with everything.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited
Noon at
about,
first, and I'm like,
yeah,
Oh, sorry,
we're
sorry.
excited about tomorrow night's meeting in Bradenton.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
We've
might
got,
hook you up with somebody. She's got an autistic son.
okay.
Hmm.
She's been using it for a while and stuff, and she just started reusing it for him too, because she did a couple other things first, but she's gonna try to get over there. So I'll let you know.
Rock co-host. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're going to get started. So again, we're Greg and Meta Warmbier. We're obviously broadcasting live here in the Sarasota, Florida area. But we got someone that's actually up in the frozen chosen of Michigan right now. And Annette Arsenault has been a great, amazing leader on our
Leader,
team.
director.
Her and her husband, Robert, are amazing. She's a functional health coach, so which means that she knows more about nutrition and everything else than 90% of us know. So I'll put it that way. So you want to listen up. You're going to want to take notes because she always shares a lot of tidbits and a lot of things regarding this amazing technology called X39. I'm going to have my wife give a couple disclosures, and then we'll have a net ticket from there. But go ahead, Mena. And this is my wife, beautiful wife, Mena.
Yes, so hi everyone. Thank you for joining us and thank you for being early. A lot of you are on before the time. Some people are still getting on. If you see that somebody you have invited is not on yet, you want to shoot them a quick text, let them know that we are ready to go. And we are going to have a great presentation today. It is a high level overview of why we are involved in this opportunity, and secondly, the product and the company that Annette Arsenault is going to be sharing with us today. But first and foremost, we're not medically trained at all, and we're not here to tell you that the product will cure, treat, or do any miracle for you. However, we know it's changing a lot of people's lives. Those of you who are brand new, please put in the chat any questions you may have. Go in the chat and then put in the chat who invited you to this meeting, because after the meeting you want to get back with them and make sure that you ask them for more information, or if you're ready to go, you tell them you're ready to go. So welcome and thank you for being on, and I think we're going to...
Yeah, so without further ado, like I mentioned before, Annette obviously is a great friend of ours. She's a director on the team, soon to be senior director, and growing from there. Her husband is watching live from the Tampa area also.
And
Which is
he's
gonna
doing
go.
a great job too.
Yeah, they're both amazing. So,
They
so dividing and
divide
conquering.
and conquer.
Absolutely. So again, we want to introduce Annette and make sure that you understand. Take lots of notes. I've got my notepad with me, so you want to basically take lots of notes and make sure you, once again, if you had any questions in there, but also, like Mena said, if you have guests on there, also put in who your guest is so we can welcome them. So again, Annette, the floor is yours, and obviously you've got full control so you can share your screen and everything else. So once again, Annette Arsenault. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay, let me do my share thing here. Hopefully we get this all right. Let me do slideshow. There we go. I think that's everything. Yeah. Can everybody see it okay? All good? Okay, great. So obviously, have you been patched? So as Mena said, if any of you are here that have not been yet, get back with the person who invited you, because we're going to talk about this wonderful technology that will elevate, activate, and regenerate your own stem cells. So I found out about it. Obviously, Greg was actually in on my initial introduction to this product and stuff, and I had literally just, as a functional medicine health coach, kind of this stuff is my jam. It's like what I love the most, and I kind of geek out on all the stuff. So I didn't even really need to go into the website myself, because as he talked about it, I had just finished a dietary supplement specialist certification that I just got done. So all that same kind of science stuff was in my head fresh. And when they talked about it, it all made sense to me. I understood phototherapy and stuff like that. So I was super excited. Um, I thought, my first thought was, if this does half of what it says it'll do, this is going to be amazing. I thought about all the clients and people that I could help with it right away, initially, not even thinking about my own issues. Because one thing I have discovered over the time of dealing with this and using it myself is that sometimes we learn how to deal with things. We just deal with things that are going on in our bodies, and we don't realize we shouldn't feel like this. Like, we should be doing something about it, or trying to. And I was already doing a lot of the healthy things, obviously, with what I do for a living. So just a quick bit about mine. 6 days in, I had a car accident. I had burning muscle pain in the middle of my back, ligament damage in my neck, made me very fidgety, uncomfortable, not really able to sit and stand for long periods of time without being just moving around. It just wasn't comfortable. So 6 days in, that went away. I've been dealing with it for, like I said, about 4 years, and doing all the things, chiropractic, all the different things, working on those kind of things, and it just wasn't resolving itself and going away. So that was taken care of. Did a long truck drive that normally would have made me very uncomfortable, not really looking forward to it at all, but helping a friend anyway. Got back and felt great, surprisingly great. I had a surgery from an injury on my foot where I lost some toes. That's a little embarrassing, but a story nonetheless. That I had a surgery, and I came out of that surgery having vertigo on a somewhat regular basis with this ticking sound in my ear. Again, something else I didn't really learn to start living with. Thought it was positional, turning my head to the side, all those kind of things. Again, working with chiropractors, Epley maneuvers, if anybody's familiar with chiropractic and dealing with things that have to do with vertigo, did all of those things. Wasn't resolving. Early 2023, it was getting worse. It was happening more often. I did have a couple of times prior to that where I actually passed out. It was that bad. So realizing probably after about 6 months and then several months from that I had not had one episode, and I've not had one in well over a year since then as well. The other part of that being that I was having the surgery because of the losing my toe. So I had nerve rerouting that had to take place from my toes up my leg, the way everything is connected. So when you have a really bad leg cramp, a lot of us have had that, a muscle cramp, you stand up, you rub it, usually it goes away right away. I had a situation where I felt like my foot was pulling up to my leg and it wasn't going to stop. Very painful, scary on several occasions. Again, not really anything. Did the magnesium because a lot of times, different things will help you in that arena with muscle cramping and stuff like that. But I was doing all those things. Again, the same kind of situation with the vertigo. It was probably 5-6 months. And then a few months from there, realizing I haven't had an episode. And again, it's been well over a year since I've had any of that. So those are 3 really big things. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what this patch does for us. And I'll share a little bit more about some of the other things that I consider lesser, but they're really not lesser in the process of aging for sure. So first of all, get patched. So let's talk a little bit about David Schmidt. He is the CEO and inventor of this wonderful technology. So this says over 130 patents, but we just got a little notification from the company that he has gone to over 200 patents. So that puts him right up there in kind of our history of some of the most significant scientists that are out there with that achievement. So him being the scientist and inventor, specializing in age reversing regenerative medicine, so to speak, which is why the Navy SEALs back in 2004 requested him to come up with something to keep them awake during their, sorry about that, I forgot to turn my phone down, during their stint inside the mini sub program. So they needed them to stay awake without artificial stimulants. And that's kind of the birth of the patch, is what he ended up coming up with, that frequency, that combination of things that would help them stay awake, generating that process in their body that would help them stay awake. So therein was kind of the beginning of this technology. And he made many others up until in 2008. Obviously, his focus started on stem cell research, which was a really big deal. There was a little bit of question about where we get stem cells, how that all works. And so 10 years and $4.5 million later, out comes the X39, which has changed so many lives. And we'll talk a little bit more about that too. This is the patent, which why this is a lot more extraordinary than some other things that come out. In a patent, I didn't know a lot about how that stuff works. Listening to Mena talk about how her friends that know about this kind of law and whatnot, but in a patent, you have to prove that this item does what you say it's going to do. This technology does what you say it's going to do. And as you can see, the most significant part of this very long patent, of which there's a website that we'll give to in a little bit that You can look it up if you want to read the whole thing or need more information about that. But the embodiments as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants. I like to go back up to the smaller print because reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvement in stamina, and then elevation of collagen production and improved wound healing. I mean, when you understand the aging process and what our bodies actually go through, I'm 58, I just turned 58. And what that means to our body is so significant in what you can and can't do, even in my arena of functional health. And because we can achieve a lot of these certain things, but the amount of things that this can do and the way that it does it in a natural way is really incredible if you really understand stem cells and even the collagen production, which I want to talk a little bit more about that in a minute too. So why X39 stem cell activation patch? Well, as we know, in aging, fewer stem cells that you have, the faster you're going to age and the slower you're going to heal. So which is why when we're younger, kids, we get hurt, we heal really quick. When we get older, not so much. Takes a lot longer, or we don't really fully heal at all, depending on how old you are and what the injury is, because we just don't have enough activity and your immune system really has to fight off everything. It's still trying to detox your body, keep inflammation down. So it's what you do have in there working for you just doesn't have enough capacity to handle everything, which is why this is so significant. And obviously, we're all, hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging. Nobody is going to escape aging, you know? So, and we know now, I knew a lot about stem cells, but I did not know the research about at 30 years old, half your stem cells are going inactive. So that's pretty significant because that's pretty early on, you know, when you're looking at 60, 30, really young for that process to start
Well,
to happen.
yes,
And
dear,
then
I had a great weekend.
also collagen production actually starts in your early 20s, actually, like 1 to 2% a year. It actually diminishes too. And when you know that you're strung, you know, we're strung together with collagen, there's a lot of things that has to do with. So that part of it is even, I'm really realizing now how important that really is too. So by the age of 60, we're doing really well if we have 5 to 10% of it working for us. So, yeah, and a lot of us don't because there's a lot of other things that contribute to that diminishing process. Okay, how does X39 work? It's a proprietary form of phototherapy, and phototherapy, I know a lot of they say look it up, but like I love the example of the sun. We know if we go out in the sun, we get vitamin D. Well, that's not just it hitting your skin. That is a transaction that actually it's a God-given thing. Like we need the sunshine. It hits our skin, communicates with the brain, and the brain will elevate an actual cholesterol in your blood. That's the transaction from that will start to make vitamin D. And vitamin D is so necessary in about 300 different transactions in our body. So it's very necessary. And then when we don't get enough of it, that's another reason why we can get sick. So phototherapy in this, it reflects, you know, the nanocrystal, it's patented nanocrystal technology. So though that technology reacts off the light and heat signature in our own bodies, so it reflects the light to activate this same thing. It's a transaction. It's non-transdermal. It's just literally that light of your own body reflecting back into your system, communicates with your brain, and it elevates that GHK copper peptide. And all of the studies that you can look at on the website and stuff that we'll give you in a little bit shows that it will elevate us back to the levels when we were younger. That's why this is so significant, is because it gives us back the tools that our bodies had when we were younger to heal faster and recuperate and stay younger, feeling, acting, operating when we were younger. So, and that's really super significant. So it's no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants, non-invasive. The non-transdermal part is really significant because if you're on any medications or doing anything, it's not going to interfere with that. That's one of the biggest questions I think we get a lot of times is it going to interfere with this, that, or the other? And it does not. It really, especially if you're doing really healthy things, it's actually going to make those more effective really technically you're going to, those things will be more effective, but it will not interfere with your drugs. Benefits of X39. This is the one I love all of this because we can look at it because we hear a lot of really great stories and testimonies, which are amazing. But when you're talking about like age reversal, you know, when we move when we're younger, we just do things when we're younger because our bodies are strong and we don't think about it because we haven't had injury or feel stuck in our body that we can't do a movement and stuff like that's going to hurt us or cause pain or be difficult. So this increased strength, a reduction in inflammation, which in and of itself helps us operate better, and our bodies can actually heal better when we don't have all that inflammation. And that's the beginning of sickness, is too much inflammation in our body. So increased stamina, energy and vitality, mental clarity. That's a big one when we get a little bit older, that inflammation in the brain. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Your decision-making processes start to slow down, you know, and you can't process information around you as quickly as you used to. Some of you might have experienced that. I feel like I was having a bit of that. Even just pulling out of the driveway sometimes, just like taking longer to process the whole situation and just pull out fast like you did when you were young. Everything's just clearer. You know, everything works better. The restored muscle and skeletal conditions, that's the one I feel like I've really had a great amount of in realizing recently. And that is that you go to move and you do things like you did when you were younger, you don't think about it because we're strung together with collagen. And that's what I love about that part of it right now, is realizing how important that is and how strong that makes our body. It's kind of a funny thing. Some people experience not having to go to the bathroom as often during the night. Well, why would that be? Well, our bladder and everything gets weaker because our muscles get weaker because we don't have collagen production. So that collagen production is actually making everything stronger, and even in that arena. You know, my knee's gotten stronger from the surgery. Our cornea is over 90% collagen. So when we hear people have got better eyesight, or they lose their reading glasses, or don't have night blindness, or floaters are gone, a lot of that is very likely the reason why is because collagen is everywhere. So that is, I think that's really fun and significant when you really know how our body works. Our bodies are amazing, and we're just giving it the tools that it needs to heal itself. That's what I love about this the most. So improved sleep, big deal. A lot of people discount getting good sleep. It's one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves, is have really good sleep patterns, because if your body's not resting, it can't recover. That's the time that it takes to repair and rejuvenate and all that. So it's really important. That's a biggie. And then improved skin appearance. Obviously, that's going to speak to the collagen and whatnot. So achieving optimal health and a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. All of this is so covered in and around all this community of health. And that's what I love about it too, because everybody needs to feel a part. And that's actually very healthy for us, is to be in a community that supports our health and supports what we're doing in our life. And that's a whole nother health benefit that is not really thought about in this arena too, but that we've got our own community and support, and we all need that. So here's our topography map of this lady's brain. They did a whole video study of this. You can see the whole thing, but this is one lady. She's 77 years old. She put the patch on. The first diagram with all the red, orange, and stuff in it, that's her brain, that's showing inflammation. Before she put the patch on the back of her neck, for clinical trials, you always have to have a controlled situation. So either on the back of the neck or below the belly button. You'll see that on the literature, but that's because they have to do that controlled testing. But David Schmidt has said that you can put it anywhere. But they put it on the back of her neck. 3 weeks later, you can see all of the inflammation, the red, orange, all that stuff is gone. And then another 3 weeks, so 6 weeks later, she's got a completely balanced, calm brain. And that's really significant, because a lot of brain inflammation is a cause of a lot of things: Alzheimer's, autism, Parkinson's, MS, like all of that is encompassed in there. So there's a multitude of things that's really significant for. And obviously, if you've got inflammation in your brain, you've likely got it in multiple other places in your body. And again, inflammation is the beginning of your body just being sick. That's where, that's where pain and all that kind of stuff really comes from, is too much inflammation. So, long-term results, per case studies, The first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. That's like a third of our gene pool, and they begin to reset. So that I feel that's kind of like it speaks to the longevity of this, because I feel like, and I'm pretty sure anybody else that's been on this for using it more than a year or more, things just keep happening. So it's really awesome to see once some of the other things are taken care of, how much all the other things that keep happening, little things in your body that start to heal and process. It's really awesome. Within 6 weeks, your brain becomes more balanced. That's the study that we just looked at. This is super, the collagen production within 3 months starts to increase, some earlier, some a little bit later, because everybody's different. But in general, that was what the studies found. And then within 6 months, the heart reverse in age, the cardiovascular health in the study showed that most people had like 8 years in cardiovascular age reversal. So that is obviously very significant. It's one of the biggest concerns of most people is their heart health. And so I could go on about a lot of that kind of stuff and cholesterol and all those things. But when you can repair arteries, I mean, like, again, collagen production, the stem cells, all of that would be hard at work to repair that kind of situation and make your heart health better. So that is significant, of course. So as David Schmidt says, it's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging. And again, there's nothing out there that does what this does like that, and that quickly, with one thing that almost everybody can afford. How do we wear X39? One little patch, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, preferably during the day. A lot of people say sometimes they want to wear it at night, but that lends to the sleep situation. Our bodies should be resting. We don't want extra transactions, why we don't eat before we go to bed, because you don't want your body digesting food when you're sleeping, because you're not going to get good rest. So wear it on during the day for 12 hours. I wear mine basically 9 to 9, peel it off, throw it away, put a new one on in the morning. A lot of people lately ask me, does it wash off? Can you take a shower? Can you do all those things? I've not really had any issues. Clean skin, put it on, good to go for the day. Put the new one on. You can wear more than one at a time if you need to. I always say, like anything else, I'm not a big fan of people doing more things than they have to. Start with the X39. Everything could be taken care of because of that. First 3 months should be X39 for sure. That's my opinion for sure. And David Schmidt has said the same thing. So the other part of that is drink plenty of water. Hydration is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves in and around anything, regardless of X39 or anything else. You need to hydrate, because our cells cannot take in nutrition or even water, hydration without minerals. That's the other part of that, was we drink water for the mineral content, but our water is really quite deficient in minerals these days. So we have to remineralize. So taking extra minerals, electrolytes, which is just another group of minerals that we need. They're just more key in the hydration equation. So we want to make sure that we get our electrolytes in. That's super, super important. It's going to work more efficiently and work better, faster for you if your body is well hydrated. And many of us are chronically dehydrated and we're just unaware of it. So that, I would say, start right away. If you've ordered yours even and you don't have them yet, start getting it all in now, because it's literally going to be more effective, work faster, work better for you if your body is well hydrated. So please do that for sure. So X39 is so sophisticated yet simple to explain. The testimonies are definitely life-changing, and the best thing is it absolutely works. I mean, we're not in a situation where we're wondering anymore, because it's been 4 years and the testimonies are incredible. I have a quick one right here. We're going to hear more from him, I'm very sure, but somebody that we put in, and he texted me this morning and he said, "Good morning, family. I have had a reboot on day 12. I feel like I've got my life back, a restart in life, a true miracle. The light is back on, and thank God from the deepest depths of my soul." There's somebody that's been seriously affected in 12 days. So I just think that is incredible when it's changing somebody's life like that. This is the website that we have. This is at info.com that you can go to. I don't think my friend got on as far as the testimonies go. I could have, where's my husband can get on and Robert, are you there? Do you want to come on and share what it's done for you so far? You'd have to unmute yourself. I don't know if he's there. I see him. Oh, where'd he go? I guess he's not there.
You talking about me or?
Yes,
Oh, hello. Yeah, I
I
was.
think you're the only husband I have on here.
I'm sorry, I was in the kitchen.
Oh, sorry.
Water done.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Probably.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm holding up the shop. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, hi, I'm Robert. I'm Annette's husband, and she helped me out a lot with that. Yeah, when I first got in, I was a little skeptical because I had tried other things. I was going through some serious issues with some arthritis in my feet, my hands, and I had restless leg syndrome. And I also I was starting to get gout almost on a regular basis. It seemed like every other month. And I went to the VA and my doctor told me that, oh, well, once it starts, you just have to take drugs and stuff like that. But I was wearing the patch, started wearing the patch in August of 23. And I think it took me about 8 months, and I noticed that I no longer had any pain in my left foot, and I could also crack my toe. And these things are so subtle sometimes you don't really realize things are happening, but then you notice, well, I haven't had restless leg syndrome either. My legs just calmed down, and then I noticed that I'm not getting up as often at night to go to the bathroom. I'm 67 years old, by the way. And I can honestly say that it has changed my life because I am virtually pain-free right now. And I'm so grateful that this was even brought through Greg and Josh to me, because and every day I start to see more and more energy and I feel a little more, younger actually, but that's my story.
Great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, Dinah wasn't able to get on, so I didn't have her to do. I don't know if there's somebody else that wants to share real quick. If not, we'll keep going. Okay.
I can share quickly just one little thing that's fun.
Okay.
And that is that I stopped taking my medication I'm taking supplements. And one of the reasons I have needed supplements is to stop the allergies that come with the spring, all the pollen and stuff. And I'm now on day 18. This is like my 58th, 59th day, almost 2 months, and I've had 18 days without itchy eyes.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
that's awesome. Thanks. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about LifeWave, the company. It's a 20-year-old company. In and around just before the X39 was really released, they were at $20 to $30 million in sales, in revenue. And then really most significantly, I mean, this says 75 years or 75 countries. I think they're at about 82 now. But they closed out in 2024 at over 600 million. So that's another thing I look at. Is like, is it working? Absolutely. Even from a business standpoint, it definitely is. And the other significant thing about it is, there's anybody else out there that has this kind of technology. We call it a Me Too it's not a Me Too product, like a lot of companies, weight loss, skincare, supplements, which are all great. You want to have good quality, you want to have good products like that. But that's what makes this more significant, is that this is a technology that is really second to none. There's nothing else out there like it. So in just looking at products like something like this, even if business wise, because the opportunity, this whole situation just, as Steve always says, screams opportunity. It definitely does, because just one, for the technology. We need this so badly in the health arena. And then the fact that it's got this opportunity behind it is just outstanding. LifeWave itself is ranked number one as a number one momentum company per Business for Home organization. You can see in all of they factor in a lot of details about that when they do these reports. and we have come out on top. The company also, I believe they just won it again, the Bravo Award, which is very significant. This is a picture of Steve and Gina Merritt. We're in their team. They are some of the most phenomenal people in this industry, in this arena. Then, of course, there's David Schmidt and the president of the company as well, just showing how quality this company and the people that are behind it are, which is really significant when you're doing anything. When it comes to, I always look into the manufacturing, the quality of a product, if it's something I use on a regular basis, no matter what it is. And when you can find people that are like this, that care about how it's put together, the strength of the company and longevity of being able to find it, because there's nothing worse when you've got something great that you want to use and you can't get it anymore. So that's definitely not going to happen here. This is one of our conferences that we had, the beginning of This Is It team, back in August of 2023, which I remember oh so well, because I literally found out about this a day before this started, and it's changed my life. So we've talked about the product. We're going to talk a little bit more about the opportunity and why this is so significant for you and those that you know. First and foremost, what's the most important thing in our life? Obviously, it's health, because none of us would be here on this call if it wasn't. But literally oftentimes, and I've dealt with this in what I do, that people, they think about their income more than their health, because they need the income in order to be healthy, to do the things that they need to do, have the time that they need to invest in their own health and do those things. So family and your time, financial freedom, all of those things come into play. I would love to travel. I'd like to travel just around to be able to share this with people, to be honest. You can get all of it in, and that's some of the things that motivate us to do the things that we want to do or need to do. And so we got to ask ourselves, what are those things in our life that we want to do the most? Are we going to be able to get to that place, those goals, and get that kind of freedom in whatever that is, with what we're doing now? And this is an opportunity that we can add to, whether it's smaller amounts or larger amounts. It's up to you, how you want to fit this into your life. So we'll switch over into talking a little bit about the compensation plan and how the business side of this works. If you're here and you're just looking at the product part of it, this could still be significant in that you can show somebody else, introduce this to them, but also income wise, if you want to figure out how to get your patches for free, to utilize this technology, why wouldn't you want to share it with somebody first and foremost? So this is one of the ways that you can do that, is because the company will give you a little bonus back for sharing it with people. So the beginning of the compensation plan is the team commission. There's several ways to make money in this, and to, like I said, whether it's just compensating yourself and getting the money back that you spend on it, get your product for free, whether you want a little side income, or whether you want to build a significant income that replaces, retirement income, pay your stuff off, quit your job. Greg's been able to do that. So it all depends on you. There's no promises in the income that you will make. It's literally, it has up to do how much you take advantage of this opportunity and all the tools that we have in place to help you do that. We're all here to help with that, because we've all got those goals and stuff too. So the beginning of this compensation plan is you start out with going manager. We have what we call team commission. It's a right leg, left leg, binary. We call it a binary type plan. There's a video that'll go all this in depth, so I'm just kind of cover it real quick about how this kind of works. But this part of the compensation plan, like I said, it starts at the level of manager, 2 on your right, 2 on your left, at a core package or above, and you become a manager and you're off to the races on how this gets started. This part of the compensation plan is capped. The most you can make is $25,000 a week. I think that's amazing. I mean, if anybody's sad about that, then the rest of this will get you really excited, because the second part of it is a matching bonus. It's unlimited income potential. As your team grows and stuff like that, they have generational bonuses that they give you. Greg and Mena sponsored Josh. So Josh is their first line. So anything that Josh makes in his team weekly, say he was making $4,000 a week, they would get $1,000. just from that. The company will pay them that because they're his first line sponsor. Josh sponsored me. So my team, 20% they get. And then my personally sponsored people, Greg and Mena, would be getting another 20% off of them, and so on and so forth. So that's how it works for everybody. And that is unlimited potential. Again, depending on the kind of effort that you put into your business and how you build it. It can be side money covering something a little bit more than that, or super significant. It's really up to you, but the potential is there for you to take it wherever you want it to go. But you've got all the tools available to you and the help that you need, because this system that we have, This Is It team, which we'll give you a website in a minute, that will help you get that done. Let's see, there's a little bit more of it as far as signing up. For those of you who are thinking about and looking at this for the first time, you can get in. There's several ways that you can do this. If you're just kicking it around and you feel like you just gonna need to try it, I never recommend it with even what I do, that you try anything less than 3 months, because there's really no way to find out. And that's when the studies are done. You got to do it, at least try it or wear it for 3 months in order to get results. So if that's you, then the core package, you get in where you fit in. The core package is great because that's 3 sleeves all at one time. And a sleeve is just that small envelope that you see with 30 patches in each one, and one for every day for one person. So if that's you, then that one. If you want to start at the business level, you have to be at least the advanced package with 6 sleeves. You get a bit of a discount there. It looks like you're getting that last one for about $35. Or if you're a couple and you're both going to do it for 3 months, at least for the first the first amount of purchase that you make, you can go ahead and get that one. I went ahead and did that, but then I jumped right up to the premium pack because I'm like, I need more so that I can share it with people. Business wise, you have a little bit more on hand so that you can lend them out to those who are wanting to start right away. They can give them back to you when they get theirs. You've just got a little bit of playroom with that. Obviously, that's going to be the most savings as well. In your first pack, you're going to get them for about $87.50 a piece. So that's the best deal. And then business wise, this is really generated off of the monthly. That's kind of your business expense. I mean, there isn't a business out there where you can make this kind of significant money where you spend $1,750 and only have to spend $200 monthly to power your business. Like, that's it for your business expenses of what you have to do to make this run and be compensated across the board in the compensation plan and all that it has to offer. So that's super, but it's generated off of that. But in that last premium pack, you don't even have to do that for a couple months out because they prorate it. So that's the most significant savings and the best way to go, bar none, for sure. So get back to the person who invited you to this call. You can talk more about that. But that is, and you also get it's one of the other ways initially that you make a little bit of money too, because each one of these packs, when you share it with somebody, the company gives you a product introductory bonus. So you get paid back a little bit on every time you share it with somebody and somebody purchases a package as well. So this is when we're sharing about if you want to share this with somebody, we go to thisisitinfo.com. That everything that I talked about in this presentation, as well as more, all the details, videos, studies, everything is on that page. So if you get somebody that's a doctor, which I just put we just did that, they can go in and get that information off of there, or just a little bit of information. Anybody that wants to look at it, doesn't matter where they're at in the scope of information seeking, it's all there. If you're already in and you want to know how to do the business, we have a system that is put in place. It's plug and play. You have everything you need. It is do this business school. You can go in there and everything, you get connected to everything, and you're going to learn how to do everything you need to do. It's all at your fingertips, and you don't even have to pay for it. And that, if you really understand business and how things run, to be able to make this kind of income, that's super significant. So I believe we're going to go back to Greg and Mena now. And I appreciate everybody letting me share today. I always love to share about this because it's changed my life, and I just am having so much fun more and more getting those testimonies back from people, because you can change other people's lives, and what's better than that? Nothing.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm taking notes looking at what you were talking about with collagen production and not going to the bathroom as much. I'm like, I didn't realize that was helping me out with my bladder too. That's a
I'm
great
like,
thing.
okay, that's why. So great job, Annette.
it's amazing.
Awesome. And you know what? The great thing is different backgrounds and, just different presentations. So it's always good to invite people that you're sharing with on because, they're going to hear from different people
Yeah.
and something's going to resonate with them. And they're like, oh my goodness, I'm thinking of this one or that one. So great presentation. Appreciate you. And thanks to Lillian and Robert for sharing your testimonies. You
Yes.
guys are awesome. And Lillian, that's amazing. I didn't think about it for myself, but I used to have really itchy eyes.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, no wonder I don't have itchy eyes anymore. So you're quite right. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and keeping the screen up here, and that it's pretty interesting because we always talk about, again, that once again, there's really three kind of conclusions that people come to seeing this for the first time. And that was like for us too. I said, usually we call it a 3, 2, 1 launch. A 3 is someone who says, you know what, I'm interested. This sounds great. Can I get some more information? And the person who actually referred you or basically brought you onto the meeting today, they'll give you information and they're going to set up a time to get back together with you in the next couple of days. They're going to send you the this is an info and send you some information specifically on that. Number 2 would be someone who says, yeah, I like this. This sounds great. I may or may not be interested in the business, but I'm interested in the product. Can I get it at that wholesale price? Because I always tell people you want to pay retail or you want to wholesale. I still have never had anybody say, yeah, I want to pay retail. Everybody wants to get the wholesale price and we'll set you up at the wholesale price like Annette showed. And number 1 would be, I like it all. I like the ideas of the dreams, the goals, of freedom. I like the idea of paying debts off, helping people, everything else. How do I get started as a brand partner? And we'll get you signed up as number 1 and we'll get you launched. And that's really what it is. So having this right here, again, we talk about if you're serious about your dreams, let the person know if you're 3, 2, or 1. We'll obviously follow up with you accordingly. We'll really tell people we're hope dealers, not dope dealers. It says, there's hope for your future. This is hope for your future. And it's very true. We're giving so many people hope around the world. The business, and like I said, Annette was talking about, 80 countries around the world. It's amazing. And getting started with X39, we want people to get registered today. So the person that's either with you or whatever, they should have, once again, the form with you to specifically tell them which packs works best for you. We recommend the biggest pack. Primarily, it's the best bang for the buck. I was talking to someone about this, a very successful business owner, and he said $1,750 for 20 sleeves. That's a great price. Plus, you don't have to buy any product for 90 days. So it saves you even another $400 off of that. He goes, so really, you're looking at $1,350. He goes, who can start a business for something like that where you get all this product? So that's what we recommend. But wherever you want to start, we can help you do that. But I love these pictures here because we're heading off. They got free trips they have, and we're heading off to actually Punta Mita, which is in Mexico. Actually, this coming Sunday, the company's got incentive trips, so you can actually win the next incentive trip, which is great. But I always see these pictures, and I always say pictures with 1,000 words, right? You see pictures, and you're like, wow, look at that. Look at the palm trees, look at the sunset, look at the lady's feet. No, I'm kidding. So look at all these things, right? and again, then what happens is that they talk about a video, though. A video is worth 1,000 pictures. So again, you could see a video of these from places like, man, that's amazing. Like the video of the resort we're going to be staying at is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing. But how many people know the experience is worth 1,000 videos? I use the example, my wife's from South Africa. I watched pictures. I saw pictures of South Africa. I watched videos of South Africa. But how many people know when I got to South Africa, it was a totally different experience? We want you to experience this product because this product is changing lives. And you do that, like Annette said, give it a 90-day run minimum. They say for every decade that you're alive, you should be using it at least 1 month's worth. So I'm 54. So if I was brand new, I should be using it 5 to 6 months minimum to see the full effect of it. But bare minimum 90 days. But get started today. Annette, you're amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And again, we want to appreciate everybody for getting on today. Some people from around the world. Annette's broadcasting from Michigan, so hopefully it's going to warm up there in a little bit. So I hear you're blowing some cold air down here in the next few days.
Send some our way.
Well, we're going to be getting it in a few days. So yeah, some cooler, so to say. And again, I know that you're missing Robert, especially actually Robert's missing you. So I'm just glad that you guys are dividing it.
A great job, and so appreciate you all for being on, whether you're jumping on from South Africa, Europe, the USA, Canada, wherever you're on. Just thank you so much for your time. And remember, we do this every Monday. Same time. So the reason for this Zoom is so that we can get the word out to people. We're not keeping it a secret.
No.
So make sure that
share.
next week you have guests on. And if you have guests on today, congratulations for inviting your guests, but do get back with them and answer any questions they may have, okay? And if you need our help or Annette and Robert's help or any one of the leaders, Anna and Maxime, and any leaders on here, because we have tons of them on, I can see, just reach out to them and ask, hey, what about this, what about that? We're very willing to support.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us. And Believers or Next Level Leaders meeting is starting in the next 15 minutes.
Yep.
So go get something to eat or drink or whatever you need, and we'll see you on in the next 15 minutes.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
Thank you for being
Thank you again,
on.
Annette. You're awesome.
Good.
Bless you.
Thank
Can't wait to
you.
see you soon. Yes. Have a blessed day. Thanks. Bye-bye.